For our school district, that means we must be clear about what schools control and what they don't. One big thing we can control is the quality of teaching and learning in our classrooms. Another is the leadership at the school level. We need to also look at sustainability. When something works, can we expand it? How best can we do that? And if it isn't working, we need to make changes. In both cases, we need to focus on how we can continuously improve. In order to answer those questions, we need a culture of collaboration. In other words, we need to work together. We need to collaborate within schools and across the district. We need to share our successes and talk over our challenges because we can and must learn from each other. No one has all the answers, so we need to collaborate to work together to succeed. So those are the big philosophical things that I am bringing to Sacramento. Some of you are probably saying, yeah, but what is he actually going to do? It's a good question. It's a great question. But I can't answer that yet. It's much too soon for me to tell you what specifically I plan to do here, except for one thing. My first 90 to 100 days will be spent listening to the many members of this community and learning from them, learning from you. I'll also be listening and learning while I visit our schools and get to know the district, the administrators, the principals, the teachers, the parents, and of course the students. I feel some urgency about this because I am eager to begin my work. But I also recognize that it's important for me to take time to listen and learn. And I hope to hear from everyone in this community and everyone in this room. That's my short introduction for all of you. And now I'm going to open up and answer questions. And I'll try to give you as many answers as I can. But when I don't know something, I'll tell you that too. Since I'm new, I'd like for all of you to tell me who you are and your media outlet or community affiliation. Are you a parent, a public official, a teacher, a principal, or even a student? Before you ask your question. That will help me get to know you. And now I'll take the first question, and not just from the media, but from the audience.
Superintendent,
yes, sir.
Rob McAllister, KSBC Radio.
Hi, Rob. Good morning.
Good morning, sir. Congratulations. You have to have some kind of idea or plan that's going in. You wouldn't take a job if you didn't have some kind of vision for this school district, right?
The question is, I must have some kind of vision, or I wouldn't have taken this job. Sure, that's a good question. I think there's lots of things out there that are working. There's many things that we're doing in Charlotte that are working, and many things and many ideas and strategies at the national level. But context is important. Context is crucial. And you only learn context by listening and learning at the local level. So yes, I have some ideas. Certainly, we talked about children are going to come first. Decisions we make will be based upon what is in the best interest of a child. We have some achievement gaps that are real challenging here, and those must be closed. It all starts with putting good teachers, effective teachers in each classroom. It starts by having great principals in every one of our buildings. And then what can we do to support those principals and those teachers so that our children can learn to the highest level? I think it also fundamentally starts with knowing and fully believing that all children can learn to the highest level and that we have to prepare them and support them. So yes, I do come with some understandings, but I also know that what's going to work here in Sacramento it's probably going to work a little bit differently than it has in other parts of the country. And that's important to understand that. Yes, sir.
Hey, Ben Adler, I'm with Capital Public Radio. You get your positions on two basic subjects that are a lot of debate in the education community. One is merit pay for teachers. The other is the role of charter schools.
Okay. So question was, what's my position on merit pay for teachers and the role of charter schools? So let's talk about charter schools first. Take the easy one, right? So I think choice is important, right? And I think that charter schools, if you think back, were designed to be laboratories of innovation. They were designed to be places, they are public schools, places where we could learn from, where they could try new things and new approaches and new strategies, and what was working could then perhaps be scaled up. And so I think having these laboratories and places to learn from are important. But I also do support choice. And frankly, I think competition is good. And if charter schools are doing a better job, well, then we should be learning from them. So I do believe in competition. Let's talk about merit pay. I think the relationship between a student and a child is the critical. The student and a teacher is a critical one, one that has to be nurtured. It's also a complex relationship, one that has to be supported. And I think ultimately he has to be measured. But you can't simply measure it using one measure, say a test score or a range of a test score. But that, I think, is because it is complex, we should be looking at multiple ways to measure the success of that relationship. And I think that performance pay, although as it's used, it can be one of those ways, provided we are using multiple measures to look at it, not simply test scores. Have we talked and have we interviewed the student to find out, are they engaged? Have we found out and have we looked at everything that teacher has done, and have we supported that teacher? Have we looked at the teacher's evaluations? Have we looked at other ways to, again, measure the success and the importance of that relationship? And then I also believe that we ought to do what we can to get the most pay and the most resources into the hands of our best teachers. So I think we need to look at ways at being creative there. Yes, sir.
Carlos Sanchez, Univision 19. You have a very large Latino community in the district. What can you do, what do you plan to do about narrowing the achievement gap?
The question is, we have a large Latino community. What are we going to do about narrowing that achievement gap? Again, here, I think it all gets back to what are we doing in our schools? Do we have the best teachers in our classrooms? Do we have the best principals in those buildings, and how are we supporting them? And what are the strategies in place to make sure that those students have the very best available to them? That we simply don't have pockets of excellence in this community, but that we have truly excellent schools throughout this school district. So narrowing those disparities between classrooms and narrowing those disparities between our schools is one of the challenges that certainly we'll be focusing on. Yes, sir.
Louis Miz, I'm with the PTA, 3rd District, parent involvement in education. I would like to know, how do you see the parents playing a role with the district, and as far as how they can be interacting, being part of the program?
The parent voice is a critical piece. I'm a parent at first, and I think that every night when our kids go home, there's a referendum that takes place, right? So 48,000 every day, every evening, which is how was your day at school? What did you learn today? It's critically important that parents, they are our first partners. Parents are the first educators that a child has. So how do we help support them, and how do we help prepare them to be that effective advocate and teacher? First, we need to inform them. They need to know what's going on in our district. We need to be transparent, as I talked about. We need to look at model ways to engage them. And I know the teacher-parent home visit program is a national model. It's a program we should be expanding, and we should be celebrating that success here and looking at further ways to improve that. But bringing parents into the conversation, inviting them, there's no substitute for going into a child's school, for being prepared, for having information, for having data, to be able to inform the conversations, to be able to talk to your child's teacher, to be able to talk to your child's parent, principal, when there are questions. And our schools and our district needs to be welcoming to parents. We need to be about service, and we need to be about customer service and remembering who our customers are.